Well, it is time once again for the Wise Home Energy Show on the WYSL stations, 92.1 FM, 95.5 FM West at AM 1040.
Pure energy.
And look at that. On cue, here's Jeff Flaherty from Wise Home Energy. Hey, Jeff.
Hey, Bob. Thank you for that introduction here. It's we're into fall already, so it's almost to that cold in your home time.
Well, you got the chilly nights already going on.
I know. I love it. I kind of love that, like flex time where it's 70 in the day, 60 in the day, a little cold at night. Good sleeping weather, maybe a fire out front.
Going to get a little bit more of that here in the next month. And then, guess what? Yeah. It's going to be chilly all the time.
I think they say that. The Farmer's Almanac is saying that it's going to be a rough one, cold and snowy. I guess that's what we're used to.
Well, I hate to say this, in the shoe dropping department, but I think we're kind of up for it. I think it's kind of like our turn.
Yeah, I'm a believer of random sampling, and we've had a few warm winters, so now maybe it's time to have the little cold winter.
Not much snow last year. I think we only got like 40 or 50 inches.
Yeah,
and our normal is 100.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, I bet you're right. I think, I don't know much about the Farmer's Almanac, but I think Bob Savage is correct on the winter forecast.
Well, we have similar accuracy rates.
I think so. I think so. Recently we were in a home built in like 2006. There's this complex here in the Rochester area, and they are cold in their home. And we see these homes, they're built on, I don't know if we call them patio homes or slab homes, but they're one story, and they put the ductwork in the attic. And if you've listened to the show before, you hear that we might not be the biggest fan of ductwork in the attic because ducts leak. And so as we've talked in the past of those grant programs, we have access to NYSERDA Energy grants based off of income, and some people get discounted measures installed. Some people can get no-cost measures installed. And this home, since it was newer and seemed like it had good insulation, it's harder to get our proposals approved. And we had these two homes. They're uncomfortable. They've already replaced their furnaces. I think they were new to the homes, even though they're 17 years old. And the furnaces, at quick glance, are oversized. We would have never put that size in there. And the attics need air sealing. There's mouse trails and mouse feces up there, and the ducts leak, and it's not air sealed. And so we proposed this robust work scope, and it doesn't get approved, and the clients are unhappy, and they want to change contractors. And it's kind of interesting. We at Wise Home Energy, we have a philosophy of do the right thing or we shouldn't do it at all.
So the procedure is you go up there and you do the evaluation, you do the survey.
Right.
And then that gets submitted to the state, to NYSERDA.
Yeah. Through a portal, whatever those portals are. I always say I don't fix portals, I fix homes. And there's a cost calculation and a savings calculation, and if it doesn't meet that, it won't pass. And so now there's contributions even for what we think are people that are going to get no cost. So they might get some no cost lights, they might get some other things, but we're seeing homes have had some type of treatment over the years. So sometimes it just does not hit this savings to investment calculator. And so they have these clients have decided to move on, and I feel bad because it's hard to sit there and brag and say, this is who you want in your home. You want Wise Home Energy in your home. We know how to treat this. We have the diagnostics to do this. So we'll do a blower door test, which we've talked about numerous times, where we're measuring the air leakage in the home. But when we're doing that and we have ductwork in the attic, we can create a seal on that duct, and we can see the pressure difference, and we can see how much it's leaking. Leaking ducts in an attic is really bad. It's bad for comfort. It's bad for energy. It's bad for moisture problems. And these routinely, they usually always leak. It's just kind of a fact because people don't test. They're just guessing, and they're just installing to, hey, that looks pretty good.
A lot of that ductwork is like that foil type stuff.
Yeah, the flex type.
It's not very robust, and it can very easily get rips in it.
Yeah, and the electrician or the pest guy or somebody will go up in the attic, and it can get stepped on and crimped, and And so it loses its performance, or it didn't have good performance in the beginning. And so these clients had moved on, and they, we never billed a dime for this job, and they're kind of upset with us, and it's a hard thing to deal with, because we know we have the best solution. And then how do you tell them, hey, the furnace you already bought is the wrong size. It's going to contribute to the comfort in your home. I can tell by the gas usage. We didn't do a full manual J calculation, but I can just experience sort of know that's what the issues are here. And that kind of, it's frustrating, but we know how to fix those houses. It just depends if people want those homes fixed. If they want to be comfortable in their home, it's going to take a diagnostic test or many tests. There's numerous tests we do. And really how, traveling back in time, maybe 17 years, how I got into this industry is I was working for Honeywell, who had a contract with the state doing managing their programs. And we were managing some contractors just like me. I had 20, 30 contractors, but I also had a responsibility one day a week to go out and do a third-party quality assurance on these jobs. And one of the jobs that really kind of altered my path in this career is I went to a quality assurance visit on a home near Erie Canal, where some of them were actually below the canal. And I walked in, and the lady had lived there for 7 years. And her complaint, I just have some paperwork, is that I've lived here 7 years. 7 months ago, I had some work done, and now I've been sick ever since, and I have this mold. And as I went through the home, the contractor kind of had followed some of the prescriptive things to do in the home. Oh, let's insulate. Let's change the furnace. But hadn't really thought of how the whole home comes together, and some of the, hey, let's do no harm. And there was roof leaks. There was water in the basement. And clearly the measures that were installed interfered with the existing conditions and kind of exacerbated a moisture problem in the home and single pane windows. And now we had visible mold on the windows, or mold-like material. And I walked out of that home very new to the industry, and I had a responsibility where I couldn't say anything to the client. I wanted to say, you've got some issues here. You got to get these corrected. But my responsibility was just to report up the ladder, and never really found out the end result of that. But that really kind of forged the philosophy of myself and of Wise Home Energy, that we want to go into this home. And maybe the client is focused here. I need a new furnace. I need insulation. But we have to make sure that we look at the whole home, if they allow us to, and point out things that could create problems in the future.
So you have this organization, this state organization, NYSERDA, and they've been around, I don't know, for some time. I think if they don't already, or still rather, they did own the former Marriott hotel that's on in Geneva, right there at the head of the lake.
I do not know that.
Yeah. NYSERDA was operating, the NYSERDA Inn or something like that. But anyway, so your epiphany about helping people have a safer, more comfortable, more healthy home environment, did that correspond with the availability of some of these state programs to help people live better and warmer and more comfortably?
Absolutely. These programs that are still available today, if you have a electric utility bill from any of the publicly regulated utilities, NYSEG, National Grid, RG&E here in Western New York, you're eligible to get, at the very least, a no-cost light assessment, which is having a professional come into your home. They have a Building Performance Institute certification of, at the very least, a building analyst, and analyze the home. So there's numerous tests, right? I mean, if you go to your general practitioner, you may not be getting the focus on a particular area that you might need a podiatrist or a specialist. So we kind of come in with that general view, and then I myself and other people in the organization have more specialized certifications. And so what the challenge is that NYSERDA's goal is strictly to save energy, while the building science is to do no harm. So some things that might be good practice, installing bath fans, installing dehumidifiers, stopping bulk moisture from coming in the home, gutters and drainage and grading, they're not really going to have energy savings, so they don't really qualify in the program. So you have to be the all-encompassing consultant when we go to these homes and let people know that some things may be qualified, but some things might not be. And if you want a well-performing house, or you want to look at the whole thing.
And it's also important to note here that this NYSERDA program is something that you've already paid for. It's a line item on your power bill.
100%. Yeah, it's really, and people always are shocked. There's no such thing as free. I'm not getting a free energy audit. Yeah, you're right. You already paid for it, so you might as well sign up and
don't be shy about taking advantage of it
and get it. And so for the income qualified, there's 2 income qualification categories. They'll get the advanced testing with a blower door test, and I'm somewhat frustrated in the industry because many contractors look for reasons to not do a blower door. And there are legitimate reasons to not do one, but it's a serious diagnostic test. And if you had a challenge in your physical health and you were offered a no-cost MRI and somebody told you didn't need it, you don't need that, your age home, that's a disservice. So I always try to challenge clients, homeowners, and contractors to do that blower door, to get that number. It's similar to going to the doctor when you're getting your blood pressure, your weight, your height. Those things are all being recorded, and then they're a baseline. Then we know where we're starting from, and we can make recommendations and improvements from there, and then we can remeasure and see the improvement.
So that's what you started doing, probably 10, 12 years ago?
So, yeah, we started Wise Home Energy, or I myself started Wise Home Energy in 2010 and, continued on that education. I quickly realized there's a lot more to this than, let's put some insulation in and let's put some furnaces in. And so looking at the Building Performance Institute, I have the analyst certification, which is the kind of that general overall certification to look at a home, to test mechanicals in the home, to do a blower door test.
And that's kind of the starting point, right?
Yeah.
Usually. That's the first step of choice, is the blower door.
That's what we want to do. Yeah, we encourage people to do it. We don't do it for free. I always say that in 13 years and over 3,000 jobs, everybody I've met, loving our service, no one's ever offered to come to my home and give me anything for free. Now, we have had some free donuts and cookies. I don't want to, discourage those people that give us, some treats, but no one's ever come to my house, and that's why we can't. This is a lot of technology and equipment and knowledge, so we do have to charge for it. So we either need to charge NYSERDA or we need to charge the end client. And, we keep the next BPI certification is envelope. So we can look at the exterior of the shell, but we also can start looking at how connected is it to the garage. Those are giant problems. We hear this from even 2-year-old homes, the room over the garage. Well, we can guess on that, or we can pull out the blower door and we can test and kind of show you why there's this problem. So that kind of falls under the envelope certification. There's a BPI heating certification we have, BPI multifamily, and also a BPI manufactured home. So I list all those. Those have been around for a long time. And then a certification that I just acquired and others in the company will be acquiring is the Healthy Home Evaluator.
Let me back up for a minute. What's BPI stand for?
So it's the Building Performance Institute.
Ah, okay.
And it really, it emanated out of the fact that you can do harm by adding something to a home or taking something away without looking at how it's going to interact with other things in the home. And really this whole Healthy Home Evaluator is moving to the next step where Wise Home Energy really already is we're already testing indoor air quality. Now we're looking at, well, what are the sources of the problems in the home? And it's more than just insulation and HVAC. There's other things we have to consider. What you're bringing in the home, how you're using in the home, what pests are entering the home. So all these things fall into that whole home diagnostic. And really the same thing, we think about it. I always do the analogy of a human. It's like you can go to the doctor and they can give you all the prescriptions, but there's the things that we need to do that help improve our chances, right? We can eat a little better. We can get some good sleep. We can, make sure we're getting some exercise or walking. And so that there is no magic pill for the human and for the house that'll automatically put you in a better path.
I think the term is holistic, meaning the whole thing, the whole enchilada.
That is that.
And you don't want to try to just, I don't know, throw solutions against the wall and see if they work. Like, okay, you know what? Let's try putting in a bigger furnace. You know what? Let's just replace all the windows in the house. Those things, as you mentioned a few minutes ago, could actually make the situation worse.
Yeah, and we see that all the time. And these are newer furnaces. And once you get a high efficiency furnace in there, the incentives to replace that are non-existent because the utilities and NYSERDA have said it's already high efficient. You're probably going to swap it with a high efficiency unit. And so either through lack of education of the contractor or to the client, we see these oversized units, and we have to remember that when we size a furnace, we're sizing it for the coldest day of the year, the 5-degree day. How often is it 5 degrees here? So it's very limited, a few days a year, and maybe only a few hours on those days. And worst case, what you could do is just plug in an electric space heater to supplement that. But so we're finding that they're never too small. They're 90% of the time they're too big.
That's interesting.
And what happens is we think of insulation and even air sealing, tightening up the home. But if the heating unit pops on so fast and furious that it heats up that thermostat and shuts off, the walls never get to really warm up, and the items in the home don't get to warm up.
Interesting.
It just can warm up that little sensor in the thermostat and say, I'm warm. And so people will call and say, well, my thermostat says this, but I'm uncomfortable. Absolutely. And
so everything around you is cold.
Right. So it's and it's hard to explain that to people. And we can't, again, come out and do a manual J calculation, which is a really computer model of all the surfaces in the home, the insulation levels, the window ratings, and then we want that air leakage number. We want that blower door number to put that in, because that number can be 5 times difference. You could have 1,000 blower door, and in that same style home, you could have a 5,000 blower door, depending on what construction or poor construction has been done on the home. And it's really, unfortunately, I wish we had more of us at Wise Home Energy, because we have a tried and true process of how to go in and diagnose these homes and fix them. It takes time. The diagnostics takes time. The approval to get any state or utility grants take time. And then once that happens, then we're usually booked out a little bit, because we're quite good at what we do. So people sign up and want us to fix their home. So it does take a little time. It is a capital improvement. But if you're going to live in your home for an extended period of time and you're not bolting out the door, flying to Florida, then we think it's a worthwhile investment, even if you're going to sell a few years down the road.
Listening to the Wise Home Energy Show on the WYSL stations. Jeff Flaherty in studio with our regular periodic program here. Let's tell them, Wise Home Energy, how to contact you.
Sure. It's 585-270-5836. And you can call or text that number. And then we also have the website, which has tons of information on it. And you can kind of do a little research on your own about what grants are available and how the process works. And that's wisehomeenergy.com.
But typically the departure point is a blower door test on a prospect's house.
That's one of the tests that we certainly love to do. Yeah, it's I like to say that I would say we have the most blower doors. Maybe if it wouldn't be, would it be per capita in Wise Home Energy or per employee or team member?
A lot of blower door tests.
We have a lot of blower doors. Yeah, we make a little tree out of them at Christmas time, and yeah, and a little 3 wise men show up. There's a little Christmas pun, but
three wise guys.
Three wise guys.
Like, yeah,
that's right.
Exactly. Okay, so and what that consists of is you put this thing in the front door.
Put this thing in the front door. We're just opening up your door. The screen door gets opened. There's a shroud and an expandable frame, and we put that in the door. We turn off combustion appliances. We cannot have furnaces and hot water tanks firing during this test. It's very unsafe. We don't want any exhaust fans because it's going to depressurize the home, so we don't want fans of bath fans and dryers working against it. And, we cannot have fireplaces burned within 24 hours. We want the ashes clean. So it's putting a 20-mile-per-hour wind on the house. It's a really neat test. We encourage people to walk around with us. They may not want to climb in their attic, but as you open and close doors and you feel the wind, really between that door and that door jamb, as you open it, you can kind of say, wow, there's a lot of air that's coming from that room. And it can be a little misdirective because that room could have something connected to it. So you might open the room and it might have an attic hatch that's loose. It might be a bathroom with some sewer stacks that are connected to the plumbing underneath the sink. It could have some ductwork that's disconnected in a crawl space. It can be misleading. It's not as simple as turn it on, get your number, and run away. We still have to use our most important tool of the energy audit is our brains and our experience in looking at what's going on in the home and what can fix it.
Typically, how long does that take?
So the energy assessment, we usually say, takes on an average house 2 to 3 hours. The actual blower door test takes maybe 30 minutes to an hour. We have to do some pre-checks. We need to go up in the attic, make sure there's nothing that's harmful. So one particular insulation that was used in the 70s and 80s is called Vermiculite. There's nothing wrong with Vermiculite, but the majority of Vermiculite insulation was sourced out of a mine in Libby, Montana, and that mine was contaminated with asbestos. When we go into an attic and we see Vermiculite, we cannot do the blower door at that stage, and we refer them to there is a program for called Zonalite was the manufacturer, and then they had some who knew they private labeled asbestos or vermiculite, I should say. So there is a antitrust that helps pay for the remediation or reinsulation of homes treated with vermiculite.
That's not a happy day if you learn you got it. Didn't they use it for plants?
Well, it's great. It still works. You'll see it in brand new little fireplaces because it's kind of like an exploded rock. It's been heated, so it can't burn. It can't. So it's a great product. It just happened to come from this. Most of it came from this mine back when 70s and 80s in Libby, Montana. So it's what frustrates me and with the real estate market and maybe there's no inspections, but sometimes people just buy these brand new home to them, brand new to them, and we go in and we open up the attic and we're like, did anybody tell you about the vermiculite in here? It's not the end all be all that you got to run for your life, but we think it was a piece of information that a home buyer should have known. And at least then they can make the educated decision to buy that home. And the mentality is leave it in place. Don't touch it.
Kind of like asbestos. If you don't bother it.
Leave it in place. Don't climb up in your attic. Don't store stuff in your attic. And, hopefully it, just stays where it is, or you can look at remediating it. But it is a legitimate concern, and that's part of the, blower door process is doing that prep work, going through the home and inspecting. And we can still miss it. I mean, it can be underneath fiberglass. It's not uncommon. People will find a stray bag and put it in their house in the strangest of places. But for the most part, and I don't think it's the end all be all, a little exposure to it is not going to cause the problems that they're telling you on the TV commercials.
Okay, so after you've done the pressure test, what's the next step?
So from there, we want to say, well, how does that compare to the square footage of the home? There's a couple different calculations we can do. So there's air changes per hour, which is volume. And we'll calculate that. The new code is 3 air changes per hour. It's been that way for about 7 years. We want to compare it to a new build home. But there's other calculations we can do. How does it compare to the square footage of the home? A quick, simple test is we want a blower door to be 1-to-1 ratio of a square footage of the home. So if it's 1,000 square foot, we'd like to be around 1,000. Another calculation that is pretty neat is the square footage of the exposed thermal envelope. So that's not going to be so much the basement. That's going to be the walls and the ceiling. And you calculate that, and you really have a calculation of a leakage rate per square footage of thermal envelope. It's kind of boring. I'm not trying to bore people, but it's a legitimate calculation, and we want to look at all three of those calculations.
It's a process, and it's important to understand that if you really want to be warm in your home in the winter, want to be cool and comfortable in the summer, that there's a scientific process behind this. It's not just, I think I need a bigger air conditioner, or I think I need new windows.
Right.
Because you want to do this right, because doing it wrong is expensive and frustrating.
It really is. And like you said, if you get a bigger air conditioner, it's not going to dehumidify. It'll dehumidify a touch, and then it'll turn off, so it'll be cool and clammy. Now you got to add dehumidification if it's not right size. So those are some of the challenges that people call up and say, "I just want an AC. I just want a furnace." Okay, what size? Who designs the specifications? If we do, we have to charge for it. If you do it, then it's your design, and if it's safe, we'll install it to your specifications. If it's unsafe, we're going to pass on it. But we can't just donate free consultation time, because there's people that want to fix their homes. So we have to do those extra tests. More than ever these days, your home is a huge investment. With the real estate prices being what they are, with the mortgage rates what they are, you want to make sure that you are that you're comfortable in your home. You'll be warm in your home, as we say at Wise Home Energy. Don't be cold in your home, and there's a lot of factors that go into that. It's more than just where you set that little dial on the wall. It really is. It really is, and that's why we spend so much on training. We want to make sure our people know how to go into these homes and fix them, diagnose them and fix them. All right. So you are booking, blower door appointments and evaluations? Absolutely. Yeah, we're covering Western New York. It's 585-270-5836, wisehomeenergy.com. All right, Jeff Flaherty from Wise Home Energy. Thanks for being us on the Wise Home Energy Show. Well, it's a good thing that we found you, because we have this Wise Home Energy Show, and now we've found Wise Home Energy to host it. So that's a very lucky stroke. Hey, see you next time on the program. Thanks for listening to WYSL. Get the podcast at WYSL1040.com.